Can you hear me? Yes, probably yes. Okay. Thank you a lot. Yeah, the space weapon is very timely topic now. Maybe I will not elaborate a lot on space weapon, but I will talk about so-called Assad tests, which are very much en vogue right now, and in terms of regulating space operations. The speech is to express my views, my research, which is a part of this project. I have to say that all this project is so much thought-provoking and inspiring that the primary subject has been developing along with my research, and the necessary, I think, thinking about the sustainability, which is again very topical issue right now, and military, it was inevitable to think how it can be combined, whether it can be combined, because sometimes we think that military and sustainability go parallel, sometimes they contradict, and should it be so? Should we just accept this possible contradiction? Let's try to, I don't know if I'm able to answer those questions, but at least I hope to work some practical solutions, maybe how to approach this issue. So at first I would like to present some trends which were an inspiration for my research. It is that first, we see all over the world that the space aspect is incorporated into defense strategies. So we have just now not just defense strategies, but space defense strategies. And following that, we can see that the space forces and space commands are also being established all over the world. America, France, UK, Germany. A few weeks ago, I had the pleasure to participate in a seminar in Garmisch-Partenkirchen at the Marshall Center of Security, which is a kind of think tank supported by the governments, American and German, and we have been talking a lot about space commands. We heard lectures from the space commanders, and so it's happening. It's not the science fiction movie anymore. What the other trend is, or maybe not trend, but the reality which we have to face are Assad tests, so something which is related to space weapons. And also, don't forget about the trend of enacting national space laws. And in this very particular moment, we have space defense strategies, and we have the trend of outbursting space laws, and how is it combined with each other? So what's the intersection between the increasing importance of the military operation in space with the sustainability needs, requirements, or tendencies? And of course, I'm just a lawyer, so I'm about to look for the solutions of the legal challenges, and the challenges, I tried to distinguish some challenges. And the first, the most important in that particular subject is the problem of application of the space regulations and standards, mainly technical standards, to the military space operations. Not so easy, as even international law does not help in that. Second, the technical safety standards, which have very much in common, lots in common with the sustainability, as you will see in a moment. What is the value, is the role of just again, just is a bit sarcastic maybe, technical safety standards. They used to be just soft law or standards used as a good practice by the industry, and nowadays, because of the sustainability, they became of primary importance, but they still are not binding in many aspects. They still are kind of lex mercatoria, or just a soft law. And then registration of military space objects. That's, as a military don't like registering their own objects, but inevitably space is dual use. So everything which we need for civilian purposes, like Galileo satellites for navigation, purely civilian as a concept. Copernicus, which just do a nice forecasting, weather forecasting for us. Everything can also have its military phase. And then what about the registration, which is one of the very important rules in space law. So all this leads to the very important question, applying or not applying space laws, technical safety standards, registration obligations to the military space operation. And if not, then what will be the consequences? We have to remember that sustainability now, I will go to that in a moment, what is it really, becomes a kind of leading paradigm, leading principles of space laws, and probably not only space laws, but my task is today just to talk about space laws. And we can see it on various levels. United Nations elaborated after 10 years of discussions, 10 years of discussions under the not more than 20 guidelines on what is long-term space sustainable development. But finally, a few years ago, they managed to adopt it as a soft law, not as a binding law, as a soft law. Then we have European strategy, which also deals with sustainability. Then we have national space strategies and national space legislation which tries to accommodate sustainability. And finally, we have the technical safety standard, which I mentioned. So all it is now elaborated and discussed in the context of sustainability. So basing on those assumptions, I distinguish three aspects of my study to analyze the Assad test in terms of law, space law. I decided to analyze the possibility and the consequences of embracing space military activities by licensing regime and safety requirements. And finally, analyze the governance, the issue of governance of military space activities and also the role of the national space agencies. So shortly about those three aspects. First, sustainability, I will not talk much about it now, just to show you that the concept is not new. First, it was presented, the concept of sustainability presented in '87. Then the United Nations took over this thinking. And what is important that the sustainability, how we understand it now and use this concept is combining the interests of the current generation. So, for example, we have a strong need to be safe, to feel safe. That's why all these defense laws, strategies are developing, combining it with the interests of the future generation. And the future generation, even more generations, need the environment which will be still usable. Yeah. So in the space context, it's usually about space debris. Probably all of you heard about space debris, just a few words as a reminder I will say in a moment. So sustainability for space is nothing different than sustainability in all other fields of law. Environmental, whatever aspect we think, the sustainability goals and sustainability as such is very similar. And that's why the guidelines for long-term sustainability of outer space activities also adopted the same concept. And just to remind what's the definition, this is ability to maintain the conduct of space activities indefinitely into the future in a manner that realizes the objective of equitable access and benefits of the exploration of the outer space. So present and future generation, we have a few guidelines which are being now transposed into space law, national space laws, and also there's nothing that it's excluded or included military. Just military does not appear. Military application of space does not appear in laws. Also the European space law, that's very interesting, and that's why I was listening to the speech of Professor Molnar concerning the EU Commission powers, like the internal market rules are being transposed and used to a defense market, and also the EU space law, which was to be purely civilian, the EU Commission used the defense element as a background for adopting the law, because EU has no competence in harmonizing space law, but it feels it has a competence to harmonize the law which deals with security and safety. So the EU space law probably will be adopted not on the not basing on the internal market, but basing on the defense market needs. Yeah, that's something that we are still awaiting for. And that's the theory. So sustainability, military not excluded, and what's the practice? First, anti-satellite tests, which means that these are tests which aim to destroy the satellite. Kinetic, non-kinetic, all types of technology can be used here to achieve this purpose, and they are being conducted. So far, 6 countries did it. 80 times they targeted their own satellites, producing lots of space debris. And even the United States Secretary of Defense said recently that for decades, US military conducted space activity with little regards for how they polluted orbits. So yeah, the military admit themselves, we didn't care. Should they care now, when we are in so much need to use the military services of the satellites for our defense? That's probably not only the legal problem. So the Assad tests, quite interestingly, they are not prohibited by law. They are in compliance with international space law. Assad tests are not prohibited, but they have very serious damageable effect for the sustainability, because if we try to destroy all the satellites, most probably Elon Musk will not be able to launch any more of his Starlinks. And we know that they are quite important even for the Ukraine at the moment. What United Nations tried to make, they proposed a moratorium, but just a soft law. Then United States proposed a moratorium, but still a soft law, like a political declaration. So Assad tests is a problem as regards law and sustainability. The second problem is the supervision and control of space military operation. Then another surprise. The countries are not obliged to regulate military space operations, because they are usually governmental, and governmental space operations don't have to be regulated. So it means that the military command, military space command, can act within their own competences, not really taking care about the sustainability from the purely legal point of view. And the third issue, governance. The governance of outer space is quite anarchic. There is no overarching authority like we have in aviation. There is a civil aviation authority which produces the technical standards which must be complied with by any aircrafts in the air. But there's nothing like the body which would take care about the safety standards for space. And we have matrix of authorities on the international and national level. We have national space agencies, we have defense ministries, we have finally now distinguished space commands, and they have their own competences, not communicating with each other sometimes. And so, in practice, the military satellite can be of completely other technical standard than the civil one. What about sustainability and the future generations? So, of course, that's a very difficult problem to solve. What would be the conclusions, the preliminary conclusions? Because, of course, that's not just law, that's politics, in fact, now. So we should care about the coherent application of the regulatory measures, which would ensure responsible behavior. And if not subjecting the military space operation to licensing, then at least making it subject to the technical standards, which are the background of the laws. And if we read the French space law, or Germany doesn't have US space law, there is no link between the technical standards and military space operations. Then we should try to make the ban on Assad testing a universal one. And of course, we have no chance to count on any treaty or any binding regulation, but as recent practice shows, the countries which show strong political will manage to encourage other states to join. So one by one, no a treaty, which is not possible to be negotiated at the moment, and get a consensus, but getting the political wills from countries, and the EU. US already is taking such initiatives, but EU could be such a leader that encourages its members and other countries to declare about ban of Assad testing. And finally, the suggestion would be that national space agencies should get more power to coordinate the sustainability aspects, not only within civilian space operations, but also military ones. And that's a short expression of my views. Unfortunately, I have to go soon because I have another conference in Krakow. But I would like to invite you, if you could change it, next week, next Thursday, we have a dissemination event, also within this project, when during 1.5 hours, not 15 minutes, we will be discussing the sustainability issues in the space defense. And I managed to invite two very prominent speakers. First one is lawyer, Fabio Tronchetti, with an immense experience from China. He spent many years in China, and Paweł Bernat, which is Polish, but he's not a lawyer, but really an expert in Eastern studies, politics, and space. So there will be a discussion more or less about this subject, how to combine it and how to make it work. So I invite you sincerely for this online meeting on Teams, and thank you a lot for your attention.